Hello, chess friends, and welcome to Jozarov Chess Channel, and welcome to another brilliant game that I think has everything that we want to see in a spectacular chess game. Welcome to a beautiful game played by the most powerful chess engine in the world by Stockfish 17 against another top chess engine, Ynode, in a crazy Najdorf SIcilian. And this game, as I mentioned, has, I would say, everything. First of all, great opening theory, then impossible middle game tactics, and then of course also beautiful endgame ideas. So put your seatbelts on and enjoy in a great game again by Stockfish 17. So with white, the fish opened with the move e4, c5 by Ynode, the Sicilian defense. After knight to c3, the game started as a close Sicilian, but after move d4, c takes d, knight takes d, and a6, we have reached now the standard idea of the Najdorf Sicilian. We have now the move f3, which becomes now the so-called English attack. The idea is clear: g4, h4, bishop to e3, queen to d2, queenside castling. So you're trying to have a fast development, and you're trying to push simply on the king side and open up somehow the position on the king side if, for instance, black castles towards that side of the board. We have now e6, which becomes now the Scheveningen pawn structure. The idea is clear: in the later stage of the game with the move e6, black is preparing the move bishop to b7 and then to crack open the position with the move d5. We have now bishop to e3, b5, queen to d2, knight to d7, g4. Stockfish continues immediately with the pressure. It's not waiting here. Second is trying to put immediately here somehow this pawn on g5, attacking simply the knight on f6. Ynode prevents it so far, and Stockfish also prevents the potential b4 move by black. And the game becomes, as usual, this so-called opposite side attack game, where white is attacking this side of the board, black is attacking the queen side. Who is faster on the attack will probably win the game. Here we have bishop to b7, preparing obviously the move d5. Stockfish castles, and now comes immediately d5. Here Stockfish takes, he takes d5, and maybe here sort of a beginner's lesson: never open, of course, the position in front of your king. Here many tactical problems could happen. For instance, if you try e takes d5, this move does several bad things for black. First of all, this move is blocking the light square bishop out of the game, so you basically prepared to somehow to get this bishop into the game. Now you're blocking the bishop, the e file gets opened. There is the problem of knight to f5, rook to e1, so too many tactical problems suddenly here for black. My Stockfish engine at home evaluates this position as 3.5 in white's favor. The material is equal, but the position is so bad for black that you can resign after a couple more moves. So look at it, e takes d5, of course, not a good continuation here for black. So that's why Ynode continues with knight takes d5, knight takes d5, bishop to d5, hitting now the pawn on f3. And now comes what is, in my opinion, the first critical moment of this beautiful chess game. So now there are basically two choices, I would say: rook to g1 or bishop to g2 to protect your f3 pawn. Maybe just for fun, think about this position if you want and choose the best continuation. I think the next move is a huge difference here for black in the continuation of the game, and that's what I love about this Stockfish game. We should also somehow try to study opening theory, because it's really not the same. If you play rook to g1 or bishop to g2, the position is almost completely different. Very important, I would say, opening moment. So maybe just for fun, pause the video and think about this position harder. What would you do now in this particular position? So okay, I see now in this position many great games in the database. Many games are won by black, many games are won by white, many games had a drawish outcome. But for instance, if you play rook to g1 here, I see now only winning games by black in this particular position and two drawish outcomes. So probably after rook to g1, white faced many tactical problems. For instance, after rook to g1, black can easily equalize with bishop to c5, putting more pressure against this knight, which is protecting the pawn on f3, and now trying maybe f4, queen to c7, and black is, I think, here also a beautiful flexibility to in some lines, maybe even to castle queenside. Kingside castling is also perfectly fine, but after queen to c7, black has equalized the game in a good way. I don't see immediately white having such a dominant position here in the middle game stage. So that's why Stockfish choose to play a tricky bishop to g2. Not that this move is only protecting the pawn on f3. This move is actually inviting here the move knight to c4 for black. Knight to c4 seems like a huge threat. And I was really surprised that Stockfish is allowing this move knight to c4 immediately, but Stockfish had now a different idea. Now the position gets really beautiful and tactical. Stockfish plays now beautiful continuation, knight to f5. And that's now the follow-up that we have to know in this line. We're allowing here to move knight to c4, but knight to c4 is actually not so good because you can play a calm queen to e2. You don't risk anything here. For instance, if even here e takes f5 happens, then you have bishop to c5. Look at this. It comes with a beautiful check. You're trying to cover. Then you play rook takes d5. The issue is black cannot escape. Black cannot play moves like queen to c7. Would just include this other rook into the game, and the game is over. What should you do? Even if you try, I don't know, moves like bishop to e6. Here in this position, the queen is hanging. I don't know. If you try king to d7 again, rook to d5 is going to happen. So completely busted position. So I'm showing you this position after queen to e2. This move previously knight to c4 can be met with queen to e2. You can also try, I don't know, knight takes e3. Seems tempting, but then knight takes e3 puts more pressure against this bishop on d5. What should you do? You're trying maybe to finally develop. You're trying to somehow lock the e file. Knight takes d5, e takes d5, queen to d3, and again it's game over. So you cannot even step back here. I don't know, with your bishop. This is simply too much pressure. Again, the queen is hanging on the d file. So knight to f5, very important moment, inviting, as I said, the move knight to c4. But now here the real fun starts. Now in the database, after move knight to f5, I see only one winning game here by white and also one drawish outcome. So here after knight to f5, here Ynode still didn't take the knight on f5, and Stockfish continues now with the novelty. Queen to f2 puts more pressure against this blue's knight on b6. Now comes knight to c4, and now Stockfish continues with an amazing rook takes d5. This is the way they go. I think it's a really beautiful game of great theoretical value. Many of us would not maybe dare to play, but now obviously the position is opening up. Look at this, e takes d5. We have now the move f4. Now comes this idea of bishop to g2. I think it's now really present why Stockfish choose to play this move bishop to g2. Now look at this, d5 pawn weak, rook to e1 is going to happen. You still have to castle somewhere, and even if you try again, knight takes e3, queen takes e3, you have to cover. Look at this, rook to e1. Again, the position is collapsing. You cannot even here cover. This pawn is hanging. You cannot castle because then the bishop will be lost. Anyway, knight takes g7 is a possibility. So too much pressure again here against black's king. Black has the issue that black didn't castle so far, didn't secure the king. So here after the move f4, that's why queenside castling here by Ynode. But no, this queenside castling position is really risky one. Because there are many squares in front of black's king, many spaces that white can attack, and Stockfish continues now with the move bishop to d4. Very important move, which meets with the idea how to play against the isolated pawn. You should create, of course, a blockade in front of that pawn. Now there is a weakness also. g7, again, many tactical problems that black is facing here. So what should black do? Many of us, from black's perspective, would try maybe the move f6 to cover somehow this diagonal, but then rook to d1, including the rook into the game, you're trying maybe to develop, and then knight takes e3, knight takes d6, rook takes d6, then bishop to c5, attacking the rook. I don't know, b3, bishop to b6 is an opportunity again. I would say much better position. Black will also lose the exchange back, so nothing gained here for Ynode. So that's why for bishop to d4, we have rook to d7, and now Stockfish plays a calm king to b1. The standard move when you castle queenside, improving for the position of the king. Bishop to d6, knight takes, queen takes d6, and now bishop to g7. Stockfish grabs another pawn. Stockfish has now I would say, a great compensation for the lost exchange. Has gained the pawn, has still the bishop pair on the board, and has what we have to mention, still this endangered king position. The king is somehow endangered, not immediately maybe, but as I mentioned, too many spaces can be attacked here, especially by the beautiful bishop's activity. After bishop to g7, rook to g8, bishop to c3, queen to e6. Here queen to e6 was risky. Maybe here rook to g4 was the first huge opportunity for Ynode to make something happen. Then bishop to h3, you're trying h5, bishop takes g4, h takes g4. My Stockfish engine at home says that black should go for this line in order to make a drawish position, to give simply back the exchange, which would be a very, very important thing to do. Nothing gained, I would say, still here for white also. Maybe you can play h3, rook to h3, getting somehow this rook into the game. But f5 is also a nice defensive moment that black could perform. Still, of course, there is the problem of the endangered king, but this knight is well placed on f5. Pardon me, on c4. I flipped the board in my head because b3 cannot be played because of knight takes e3 here. It's obviously a huge tactical problem for white. So maybe this was the way to go. The first, I would say, big shot for Ynode to somehow equalize the game, to make somehow a nice defensive setup. So here after bishop to c3, Ynode didn't play that, tried queen to e6, trying somehow to take this pawn in a different way, but now Stockfish plays a calm bishop to f3, says you had your chance, now I'm attacking again your king is endangered. And now comes another critical moment of the game. Here Ynode had maybe the opportunity to play queen to e3 to force trades of queens. Then after queen takes e3, knight takes e3, and bishop to d4, you maybe can protect it, but then with the g5, the position still is very dangerous. H takes g5, f takes g5, rook to g5, bishop to f6. Again, my Stockfish engine at home says that you should go for this line. Again, simply giving back the exchange. Here after bishop takes e7, rook takes f3. There is maybe this dangerous pass pawn that black is facing. But again, Stockfish says, my Stockfish at home, as I said, says that black could maybe survive this attack by white. But instead of queen to e3, training off the queens, here comes king to b8, and there is now a huge problem about this move, king to b8. Now it's a completely different story because Stockfish plays a beautiful b3. b3 is really great because now it's not allowing queen to e3. Queen to e3 is now completely, I would say, winning here for white. It's not the same position like the previous one, because after queen takes e3, knight takes e3, and bishop to d4, you have to now somewhere step back. You have to maybe, I don't know, defend your knight, but then rook to e1. And the issue is, when we attack now this rook, you have to in one moment step back from the defense of it. We'll play f5. So the issue is, white will get too much material will get actually two minor pieces for the rook, so it's simply not working. So even if you try, I don't know, knight to f5 to somehow trade off the rooks on the e file, then there is a problem of bishop to e5, and that's the bad part about this move, king to b8. That Ynode played this move, bishop to e5, comes of course with the check, and again black has to give up now the rook for the exchange, and again completely winning position, I would say, here for white. So here king to b8, we have to say the first very important moment for black after this move, I think, is completely losing this game. So Stockfish plays b3, allows now knight takes a3, but now king to b2 forces again a new reaction. We have now the move b4. Stockfish continues with bishop to e5, the check, king to b7, rook to d1. Okay, maybe Ynode is holding now the position with this knight on a3, but now look at this. This is too much pressure. Both of these bishops crossing towards black's king. The queen is very active. You cannot push the pawn to d4 here because of this bishop. And the main issues, I would say, also the knight is misplaced. The knight is simply out of game. Completely devastating position to handle here for black. After a move rook to d1, a5, we have now a beautiful move again by the fish, c4. What should you do? If you play, of course, something like this, then the knight is hanging again. White is gaining too much material. So that's why for c4, queen to b6, we have now bishop to d5. Here Ynode steps back, and now c5. A great follow-up here by the fish. What should you do? Even if you try, I don't know, queen to b5 to cover, then bishop to d6. You're trying maybe to get this rook into the game, but now calm, bishop to f3. Look at this, rook to d5. We'll simply put more pressure against this rook. Then in one moment you push h4, f6, g5. You just let this pawn roll. In one moment, if in any case black goes to, I don't know, this side of the board, there's also the problem of bishop to e2. So too much pressure again against black. But after c5 that Stockfish played, Ynode played even a worse continuation with rook queen to d8. It seems so that maybe there is something through the d file, but now Stockfish plays a calm queen to g2, is trying in some lines to play the move bishop to b7. We have now knight to b5. Ynode is desperately trying to get back the knight into the game. Desperate try here by Ynode, but Stockfish continues now with calm c6, and now Ynode tried rook to g4, try to deflect maybe the queen from from the defense of this bishop. What should you do? You can maybe try here rook to d6, but it's not helping you because of c7 and queen to c7, bishop to c4. Look at this, rook takes d6, rook takes d6. This is just one line that I wanted to demonstrate in which also black is completely losing. Look at this, queen to bishop to d6, queen to d6. So again, completely winning position. So after c6, as I said, Ynode tried this move, rook to g4, but now queen to e2, a calm move here by the fish. Rook to d6, we have now c7, and in this particular position, Ynode resigns. So what's the issue? If you try queen to c7, then we simply pick up this one, and nothing is working. Completely winning outcome here for Stockfish. So amazing game. I would say interesting game of great theoretical value. Let's see this moment, bishop to g2, and then here the beautiful follow-up, knight to f5, then with this idea queen to f2. Spectacular chess game. Maybe this is great theory for you. Maybe you can use this game as your cornerstone against the Najdorf SIcilian here with the white pieces. So, okay, if you want to see some other spectacular, sharp, tactical chess games like this, check out our commented chess games played by computer series. Here's the link to the playlist, and if you like this content, hit the subscribe button. See you soon with some more videos.